Ever had one of those late night commutes where you're just absolutely exhausted and all you want is to get home? Now imagine that everyday elevator ride suddenly taking a detour, not just to a different floor, but into a whole different reality. What if your commute literally opened a door to, well, the unimaginable? Today we're taking a deep dive into a really compelling narrative, a story that pushes the very boundaries of perception and terror. Our source material details this chilling experience, a sequence of events revolving around an ordinary man named Alex Thompson, and an elevator ride that just defied all logic, blurring the line between, the tangible and the nightmarish. Our mission today is to unpack this extraordinary account. We're going to explore the distinct realities Alex encountered. We'll analyze the escalating psychological and physical toll it took, and consider the really profound questions this experience leaves about the nature of reality itself. Get ready to maybe rethink your next trip in an elevator. So let's set the scene a bit. Our story centers on Alex Thompson. He's a mid-level accountant, pushing 40, kind of your average guy, really. He's burning the midnight oil in one of those towering old New York office buildings. You know the type. Lots of history. It's 2 a.m. He's completely exhausted, eyes kind of blurring from staring at spreadsheets all day, and all he wants is to pack up and head home. He calls the elevator, expecting the usual quiet ride down. The doors slide open with that soft ding, and Alex steps in, presses the button for the ground floor. Seems normal enough, right? But tonight, something's definitely off. The numbers on the panel start to glitch: 25, 24, 23. Then this jarring flicker. The elevator jerks violently, and instead of continuing down, it lurches and stops at a floor that just shouldn't exist. -1. -1.
And this initial disruption, it really highlights that feeling of cognitive dissonance, doesn't it? Alex's mind is faced with something outright impossible, this non-existent floor. And his first reaction is probably to rationalize it, like, oh, must be a maintenance level or something, which is a classic psychological defense. It's that fundamental struggle to keep reality coherent, even when the evidence screams otherwise. It's fascinating how quickly our brains try to impose order on chaos, even impossible chaos.
Exactly. So Alex is staring at this panel, just totally bewildered. Negative floors. Maybe he is thinking, okay, secret utility level, fine. But as the doors hiss open, this profound chill just runs down his spine. This is no concrete utility room. He's looking at a dimly lit corridor stretching into what feels like, well, infinity. The walls are covered in peeling wallpaper, faded flowers that, and this is creepy, seem to writhe like living things. And the air, thick, musty, like wet earth and decay. It's a complete sensory assault before anything truly physical even happens.
Oh, it's absolutely designed that way. What Alex is encountering here is sort of the uncanny valley of environments. Things that are almost familiar, but fundamentally wrong. This isn't just a spooky setting. It feels meticulously crafted to trigger a primal sense of dread. It blurs the lines between the known and the monstrous, creating this deep psychological instability. And his thought, this isn't real, it's not just denial. It's his mind desperately trying to categorize something that just defies all rational frameworks.
Right. And it only gets worse from there. His footsteps echo, like way too loud as he steps out tentatively. He calls out, "Hello!" But his voice is just swallowed by this oppressive darkness. Then he notices doors lining the hall. Brass numbers 101, 102, 103. But these are clearly not offices. Something is very wrong. Through a crack in one door, he glimpses shadows dancing, but not from lights. They're figures, and they are profoundly not human. Elongated limbs, faces twisted in these silent screams. Then one turns toward him, its eyes glowing like actual embers. Just the sheer grotesque distortion of what should be a boring hallway is terrifying. His heart starts pounding. Confusion turns instantly to raw, almost animal fear. He mutters again, "This isn't real," and rushes back to the safety of the elevator. The doors close just as this low growl echoes from down the hall, a sound that kind of vibrates in his bones. He's jabbing the ground floor button like crazy, desperate to escape. But yeah, this nightmare was really just getting started. The elevator's journey was only beginning to scratch the surface.
That initial jolt, the familiar turning, so sinister, it really sets the stage perfectly for the systematic dismantling of his reality, doesn't it?
Right.
From what should be a basement, he's hit with this sensory overload that completely validates his fear, and the shift from just psychological weirdness to an immediate physical threat escalates incredibly quickly from this point. It shows the terror isn't just atmospheric, it's actively trying to harm him.
Absolutely. His desperate attempts to get to the ground floor are just futile. The elevator lurches downward again, bypassing normal floors 22, 21, 20, then another violent lurch. It stops at -2. This time the doors reveal something even more impossible. A vast, fog-shrouded indoor forest. Trees twist way up, their branches like skeletal fingers scraping the ceiling. The ground is soft, like actual forest floor, covered in moss and leaves that crunch. But this is no peaceful woodland walk. The air is thick with the unmistakable smell of blood and rot.
Yeah, this isn't just about scaring him anymore. It's a systematic breaking down of his core sense of safety and logic. Think about the psychological impact here. First, a hidden room, now a monstrous indoor forest. The basic rules of his world are completely shattered. This escalation from impossible space to impossible ecosystem, it's designed to induce what psychologists might call learned helplessness. Alex is rapidly figuring out that his efforts to control the situation are basically useless, leading to this deeper despair.
And the immediate physical threat here is just undeniable. Alex freezes as he hears rustling in the fog. Then emerging from the mist, a pack of creatures. Wolves. Okay, but not like any wolves he's ever seen or imagined. Their fur is matted with something like oil, their eyes reflecting the sickly green light. They circle him, snarling, teeth dripping with saliva that actually sizzles when it hits the ground. Then one lunges. Alex barely dodges, scrapes his hand badly on a thorny branch. Blood wells up, and seeing the blood just sends the pack into this frenzy. He sprints back towards the elevator, slamming the call button from the outside. The doors creak open, agonizingly slow, like every second is an eternity, while the pack is closing in fast. He dives inside the door, shutting literally on a paw that scratches the metal with this sickening force. Panting, he checks his hand. The cut is deep. Definitely needs stitches. But the pain feels kind of distant, almost unreal. It's like his body is already starting to dissociate from the horror.
Right, this rapid escalation, the sensory detail, the immediate physical threat, it's classic effective horror. Alex isn't just watching this happen, he's bleeding, he's fighting for his life. The physical toll is no longer distant, it's very real. And the pain feeling distant, that's a crucial psychological defense mechanism in high-stress situations, sure. But it's also maybe a precursor to the deeper dissociation he's going to experience as this keeps unfolding. His body is starting to disconnect from his mind.
And the elevator, totally indifferent to his suffering, just plunges him deeper still. It descends once more, 19, 18, another jarring glitch. Stop at 93. Now the doors open onto an abandoned and just incredibly wrong carnival midway at night. Neon lights flicker erratically, casting shadows that seem to move on their own, detached from whatever's casting them. Ferris wheels creak without any wind, and these creepy clown statues grin with just too many teeth. It's like childhood innocence twisted into pure menace. It's deeply unsettling.
And the carnival setting, that's not accidental, is it? It's traditionally a place of joy, illusion, maybe even manufactured fear, but fun fear. Now it's weaponized. It meticulously sets the stage for a really profound psychological attack. It turns his own deeply ingrained expectations against him before he even faces a literal monster. This kind of narrative device often targets a character's sense of security, showing how easily comfort can be corrupted into terror.
Exactly, because that's when he steps out hesitantly. He's drawn by this faint laughter echoing from a hole of mirrors. The ground underfoot is sticky, and he hopes it's just spilled soda, but there's this metallic tang that suggests something much worse. He enters the mirror maze, his reflections multiplying endlessly around him, but in each pane his image distorts. One version has hollow eyes, another smiles back with bloodied lips. It's a direct assault on his identity, even before the truly personal horror shows up.
Yeah, that assault on his identity within the mirror maze is incredibly potent. It directly taps into themes of self-perception, self-doubt. It literally reflects distorted versions of Alex back at him. What's fascinating is how these environments aren't just, externally terrifying. They feel meticulously crafted to mirror Alex's internal state, his fears, turning them into these personalized instruments of torture.
It's almost like the entire experience is custom tailored to his deepest insecurities, isn't it? Deeper in the maze, the laughter grows louder, but then it turns into sobs. He turns a corner and sees her, a woman in a tattered dress, rocking back and forth. She looks up, her face pale and just devastatingly familiar. It's his ex-wife, Sarah, who died in a car accident 5 years ago. This is completely impossible. "Alex," she croaks, her voice echoing weirdly in the maze. "You left me to die. Why didn't you save me?" The sheer visceral impossibility of it, combined with the raw guilt. Sarah's gone. But this version reaches out, and her fingers start elongating into claws. Alice just screams, shatters a mirror with his fist. Glass shards rain down. And in the fragments, he sees these terrifying glimpses of alternate lives. One where he never married her, another where he's the one who died. He flees the maze, the laughter chasing him like a swarm of insects. Back in the elevator, he collapses, tears streaming down his face. cut on his hand throbs fiercely now, and he notices it's spreading. The veins around it are turning black, like ink seeping into his skin.
This shift from general physical threat to profoundly personalized psychological horror marks a critical turning point. The carnival, a place of distorted fun, becomes the stage for his deepest guilt and trauma. Sarah's appearance, real or not, taps into his deepest regret, demonstrating how these manufactured realities are designed not just to scare him, but to systematically deconstruct his past and present. They're challenging his very sense of self-worth. And the spreading ink, that's the visible manifestation of this internal corruption, isn't it? Connecting his physical and psychological suffering directly.
The descent just keeps going, relentlessly. Each stop pushes Alex further into despair, further into the physically impossible. The black veins on his hand keep spreading, this horrifying reminder that this isn't just happening to him, but within him now. The elevator moves again, 1716. Stop in -4. This floor is completely submerged. Water laps at the elevator threshold, cold and dark as an abyss. Beyond is a flooded cityscape, buildings half sunken, streetlights flickering eerily underwater like ground stars.
And this raises a really important question, I think. Are these external realities, or are they maybe potent projections of Alex's deepest fears and anxieties? Perhaps tied to his personal trauma, or just a primal fear of the unknown, of drowning maybe? The body horror element with the doppelganger coming up and the spreading infection, it connects the external horrors directly to his internal state. It's not just an outside threat anymore, it's contaminating him, becoming part of him. It suggests a complete loss of control over his own boundaries.
He has to wade in, the water's up to his knees, then his waist. These weird human-eyed fish dart between his legs. And in the distance, silhouettes are swimming, not fish, not mermaids, but something far more chilling. Bodies, bloated and pale, floating aimlessly. Then one bumps right against him. His face turns in the murky water to reveal his own features, decayed and eyeless. I mean, that's just utterly chilling. It's not just a monster. It's a mirror of his own potential end.
Absolutely. The subconscious mind, especially under extreme duress, often projects our deepest fears and self-loathing onto external threats. Seeing his own decayed face is, well, it's the narrative telling us Alex is literally drowning in his own personal horror. Right. Possibly a manifestation of guilt, fear of failure, fear of death itself. It's a really vivid depiction of existential dread, the fear that even in death, maybe there's no escape from oneself.
Panic rises as the water gets deeper. He starts swimming toward what looks like a rooftop, but then tentacles erupt from the depths, wrapping around his ankle, pulling him under into crushing pressure and endless night. Visions flash through his mind. Childhood drownings he never actually experienced. Oceans swallowing whole cities in apocalyptic floods. He somehow fights free, gasping for air as he hauls himself back into the elevator. Soaked, shivering, he looks down and realizes the black veins have climbed all the way to his elbow now. He's barely keeping it together. This is a dream, he's telling himself. Wake up, wake up. But his desperate self-talk does nothing. The elevator, this indifferent behemoth, just plunges him deeper still, down to McGold 5. The doors part to reveal a factory of horrors. Truly, conveyor belts are churning endlessly, carrying limbs and organs like assembly line parts. Erg. Workers, or what were once workers, shuffle about, their bodies horrifically fused with machinery. Gears grinding in open chests, eyes replaced by cameras. The air just reeks of oil and blood.
You know, the factory floor is particularly chilling because it's such a profound commentary on dehumanization and the fear of losing individual agency, becoming just a cog in a machine, to be repurposed, to become part of the machine, is this deep existential dread for many people. This environment taps into anxieties about industrialization, conformity, the idea that your purpose can be stripped away, leaving only a function. It's a truly bleak vision of what happens when the human spirit is just subsumed by an unfeeling system.
He hides behind a crate as this foreman-like figure patrols. Its head is literally a spinning drill. And it drones in this metallic voice. Efficiency is key. Defectives must be repurposed. It's terrifying because it feels so cold, so logical in its cruelty. Alex sneaks forward, trying to find an exit, but trips over a pile of discarded parts. Hands that twitch, eyes that blink. Suddenly alarms blare and the workers swarm him. One grabs him, its grip like a vice. Join the line, it hisses. Alex fights back instinctively, smashing a nearby pipe into its face. Oil sprays like blood. He runs, but the factory itself seems to shift, the walls closing in like a trash compactor. Barely escaping, he slams back into the elevator just as the walls nearly crush him. He looks down, the black infection now reaches his shoulder, a chilling numbness spreading with it. Visions haunt him. His body disassembled, rebuilt as something inhuman. It's not just pain now. It's a complete physical and mental collapse underway.
This escalating physical disintegration happening alongside the mental anguish, it really echoes the concept of a psychosomatic response to extreme trauma. It's not just that Alex feels numb or broken, his body seems to be literally manifesting the internal breakdown. The visions of his body being disassembled reflect a complete loss of control over his own being, which is a core element of psychological torment in this kind of narrative. The external horror and the internal decay have become completely inextricably linked. It's a total system failure, psychologically and physically.
One more descent, 13, 12. Then a final shuddering stop at -6. Is this truly the end of the line?
This feels like the absolute apex of his journey, doesn't it? The final psychological frontier. What's fascinating here is the complete existential breakdown. This isn't just a physical threat anymore, it's a disintegration of identity, of self. It's a confrontation with personal failures, with the ultimate emptiness. It reflects that universal fear of losing who we are, not just physically, but metaphysically. The void itself is the ultimate antagonist here, forcing Alex to face not just death, but oblivion and the weight of his own perceived failings. It's a profound encounter with non-being.
And it delivers exactly that. Level made of sleaze is pure void. Darkness so absolute it feels like it presses against his skin. There's no floor, no walls, just endless nothing. Alex steps out, or maybe floats out, into weightlessness, utterly alone. Then whispers surround him. The voices of everyone he's ever known, accusing, pleading, "You failed us. Join us." Shapes start forming in the blackness: his parents, long dead, friends he lost touch with, even his future self, withered and alone. They pull at him, seem to be dissolving his form. The black veins by now consume him entirely, turning his body to shadow. It's the ultimate erasure of self. But then, in a last desperate, maybe inexplicable burst of will, he claws his way back towards the elevator. Just a flicker of a survival instinct that defies all the logic of the situation. The doors close, and for the first time the elevator ascends. Up past the negative floors, main of us 5, main of us 4, all the way up. The panel stabilizes at ground level. Ding! The doors open to the lobby, bright and normal. Alex stumbles out, collapsing onto the cold marble floor. Security finds him there at dawn, babbling about parallel worlds.
And what's so striking here is that abrupt transition back to the mundane, isn't it? It leaves us, and Alex, questioning the very nature of his experience. Was it real? A hallucination? A psychotic break? The key is that lingering question, which is often far more powerful in horror than a definitive answer. And the cut on his hand, now healed but scarred in a pattern that shifts when he blinks, that's a perfect symbol of this ambiguity. It's not just a physical scar. It feels like a liminal mark, maybe a permanent aperture to other possibilities. It proves that Alex's internal world, at least, is forever changed.
That scar is incredibly unsettling, yeah. It's his physical reminder of something impossible, a constant whisper of what he endured. The story says Alex quits his job that day, moves to a one-story house maybe to avoid any more vertical transportation, But sometimes, late at night, he hears a distant ding and wonders if the elevator ever truly let him go. The world might look the same on the surface, but for Alex, reality is irrevocably altered, changed forever. So we've journeyed with Alex Thompson through this extraordinary, terrifying deep dive, from the mundane hum of an office building late at night to a series of impossibly disturbing realities. We've seen him confront his deepest fears, battle monstrous entities, and ultimately face the dissolution of his own being, only to be seemingly returned to his original world.
Right, and this raises that important question. When someone's perception of reality is so profoundly shattered, can it ever truly be put back together? Even if the external horror disappears, the internal landscape is irrevocably altered. The shifting scar, the distant ding these, suggest that some experiences leave marks beyond the physical, a permanent aperture, perhaps, to other possibilities. It's a classic example of post-traumatic stress manifesting not just psychologically, but maybe with a physical, almost supernatural imprint. Alex may be physically back, but he is fundamentally a different person, burdened by the knowledge or the belief of what lies beneath the surface.
So what does this all mean for us listening to this? What if the ordinary gateways in our lives, a door, a familiar street, or elevator, are just one thin layer away from something else entirely? And what if once you've glimpsed what lies beyond that layer, you're never truly back to what you once considered normal reality? What if the everyday hum of your world now carries a faint, chilling echo of the impossible? It's enough to make you think about taking the stairs next time, isn't it?